The release of Alpha 21 is getting closer, and as it happened before such events, the developers become not very verbose. This is most likely due to the fact that the main efforts have already been thrown at finding and fixing bugs in a future update, but all the same, the developers still continue to publish some details of the future alpha, although this happens extremely rarely. It is about this and much more that I will tell you right now. You are watching the Cervic channel. Leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications please. This is important for me now. And we are starting. Let's start with a review of some screenshots that developers have shared recently. And then we will move on to more interesting things, including the behavior of future bandits and changes in the operation of some weapons in the game. So recently, new options for ceiling and wall lamps have been published on the forum. New wall paintings, which no longer depict people, but animals. This will certainly diversify the interior of residential premises and offices. In hospital wards, you will find updated light stands for studying X-rays. These stands will be presented in two versions, both with and without X-rays. And in addition, they can be found in two states, on and off. We have already seen such items, and earlier they looked like this. Another updated block of some medical theme. These are cabinets for storing bodies. Previously, it looked like this. In addition, the developers once again showed how static cars, both civilian and police, will look like. Another novelty in 21 Alpha will be new piles of boxes with ammunition. Which most likely can be found in some military locations. Well, or, for example, at the base of the Merchant Hugh, who should specialize in weapons and ammunition. The generator will also change. So now, according to the sensations, the new generator will be a little lower and a little longer in length. Be that as it may, I like the old version of the generator more, but what do you think? In the desert, you can find updated snags. And in the cities there will be many new and completely redesigned locations of different levels. One of these new locations is now presented on the screen. This is a burger house on the roof of which there is something like a pirate ship assembled from building blocks. Will change in 21 Alpha and lighting. It will become a little more pleasant and not as Vyroviglasny as it is now. This is especially evident in this part of the image. Well, as for water, it will never learn to flow in Alpha 21, and you should not wait for waterfalls, but at least the water will learn how to correctly fill empty spaces with itself, even inside blocks such as grass or frames. Whether it will be possible to create holes in the water, as it is now in Alpha 20, is not yet clear. I hope not. And yes, according to the developers, in Alpha 21, the mechanics of the characters swimming in the water should be improved. I don't think it means something radically new, like new animations or something like that. Most likely, the speed of movement of the character in water or underwater will simply be increased, but we'll see how it will be. The dyeing system for weapons and tools will also change, and unlike what it is now, when installing a dye, weapons or tools are completely painted, in 21 Alpha, as I understand it, rags will be wound around weapons and tools, which will change color depending on the installed dye. As far as weapons are concerned, the spear cannot be thrown in Alpha 21. Instead, the spear, like any other weapon, will simply have an enhanced version of the strike, which will deal multiple times more damage, but will also eat many times more stamina. And besides, a normal spear attack should do more damage than it does now. There was also some news about updated doors and gates. In Alpha 21, They will still be unhackable, but they will get a partial destruction mechanic that allows you to shoot enemies through damaged parts. Shutters and basement hatches already have such properties now in Alpha 20. I don't remember if it works now with shutters and basement hatches, but through the gaps in the updated doors and gates, it will be possible not only to shoot, but also to throw stones and grenades. Through such holes it will also be possible to hit zombies. And the best weapon for this would be a spear, although I'm sure a club will also work. Next, let's talk about some new details regarding the new system for opening recipes and improving the quality of crafted items, and then we'll talk about bandits, so watch video till the end. So, now on your screen is one new magazine, which in Alpha 21 will have to be searched in large quantities in order to open at least some recipes. Specifically, reading this magazine will bring the player closer to discovering something new in food or drink. Let me remind you, in Alpha 21, all schemes and recipes, except for modification schemes, will no longer be found in the game world or unlocked by upgrading existing perks. In Alpha 21, additional special perks will appear, increasing the level of which, it will be possible to gradually unlock new schemes and recipes, as well as improve the quality of items created. To level up these new perks, you'll need to seek out and study new tech magazines. The cost of one technical journal, as you can see in this screenshot, is 400 dukes. This is quite expensive, and this may mean that one such magazine will be enough to increase the level of a technical perk by 1. But do not think that each such magazine will necessarily open new recipes or improve the quality of the items created. Unlocking a new recipe or upgrading an item may require finding and reading a varying number of tech magazines of a given type. Schemes and recipes are distributed shooting ranges in such perks, most likely just for beauty, and switching to a new shooting range will not allow the player to open several recipes or schemes at once. Most likely only the first available recipe or scheme will be opened. In the case of shotguns, where each tier contains only one scheme, as you read magazines of this type, the quality of creating a shotgun will increase. And after reaching the maximum quality, a new shooting range and a new crafting scheme will open. Approximately the same is likely to work in the case of transport, with the exception that the transport has no quality, and as you study the magazines, new schemes will simply open. But as for crafting stations and food recipes, which also have no quality, then each shooting range will already contain several schemes and recipes at once. In Alpha 21, character models will also be replaced, which means that we should at least wait for the appearance of new sets of armor and new clothes, but this is not certain. It can be indirectly confirmed that the characters will get new animations, but this most likely only applies to the third-person view. So, when answering a forum question about bandits, Fa Tall mentioned that bandits will mostly use character animations and some zombie animations. And the animations of the characters, according to him, will be pretty much changed for the better. And Roland hinted on the forum about some new zombie death animations, but nothing is known about this at all. As for the bandits, their very appearance in Alpha 21 is still in question. According to the developers, there is less and less time left before the release of Alpha 21, and if by the time this update is released, the state of development of the bandits does not suit Joel and the team, then the bandits may well move to the next Alpha. Let's hope that this does not happen, although if the bandits do appear in Alpha 21, then their behavior at first will not differ much from the behavior of zombies. At the moment, it is known that bandits will come to the player like zombies in the form of small wandering hordes. When killing a bandit, players will be able to pick up his weapon, but the quality of this weapon will never exceed the quality of the weapon that the player can create. I wonder how it will work in co-op. What will determine the quality of the dropped weapons? From who killed the bandit, or from the one who raised his weapon? This has not yet been answered. From the screenshots that we were shown earlier, it can be assumed that the bandits will wield both melee weapons and firearms. And if the bandits with melee weapons are likely to act like zombies, trying to close the distance as much as possible in order to attack the player in hand-to-hand combat, then the bandits with a firearm, in theory, will have to be able to keep their distance and at least be able to use cover at least minimally. And besides, it was previously mentioned that when the level of health drops to a certain value, the bandits will try to retreat, much like wolves or coyotes are doing now. I hope that the bandits will use first aid kits when retreating before attacking again, but if this is implemented, then, it seems to me, certainly not in Alpha 21. What else is planned, but definitely will not fall into 21 Alpha, is, as Fa Atal put it, idle movements that not only bandits will have to perform, but also zombies. In those moments when they just roam the world. There are no details here, but let's fantasize a little. Or let's do better. I will give a few examples that came to my mind, and you will add your options to my versions in the comments. Deal? Then let's go. So, if I were a bandit and I had nothing to do, what would I be doing at that moment? Well, for example, I could stand and examine my weapon, reload it or clean it. I could periodically defiantly aim a weapon at an imaginary opponent or imitate blows with a baton or other melee weapon. I could get a cigarette and smoke. I could scratch my head or something else that could itch me sharply. Or, wandering down the street, I could sit down and start digging in the ground, as if I noticed something interesting or just shiny. What if I were a zombie? Well, it's a little more complicated, because you have to think like a zombie. So, if I were a zombie, I could suddenly lift his head to the sky and roar, could sit on the ground and start sorting through the garbage, could start to look around sharply, as if he heard something. I could start hitting myself on the head. Well, why not? I'm still a zombie, remember? And then my fantasy ended. Be sure to write in the comments your versions of the behavior of bandits and zombies at times when they have nothing to do. I'll be very interested to see what you can come up with. That's all for today. There is definitely a lot more interesting news on 7 Days to Die ahead of us, a review of which will definitely appear on the channel. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to my channel, it is very important for me. And I'll go look for other news and make new videos for you. I wish you a peaceful sky. God save Ukraine.